I'm Denise.
And I'm Ali.
And we are here to do our podcast, Soul to Soul.
Yay!
What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about one of the other things that's very important to us and our life, professionally and personally. It's music.
It is the music.
We are both singers, artists. Denise writes very beautiful songs.
Thank you.
I sing backing vocals
Very
on them
beautifully.
mainly. And part of our podcast will be, as we go along, introducing you to some of the music that we've created together. There is the new project coming in 2025, but actually before that there was still music and some of it hasn't actually been released yet, and it will be released, but some of it was released, and it feels like such a while ago now.
2019.
And today we're going to talk about the very, very first single that was brought out from the Becoming Mrs. Bell project album.
Which is 3 EPs back to back. You know how I like the process of transition by now. It's where I go to sing my way through it. The influences of this project were Blue Nile, Let's Go Out Tonight. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. I think it's 1989. It's absolutely exquisite and well ahead of its time. James Blake was also an influence on this, since we saw him in Glasgow, which I've mentioned before. But if you're watching us for the first time, don't worry, I repeat myself a lot. And the process of us getting together and married, which is nearly coming up for 9 years ago now since we got married. So it seems it took a while to work out the process that we did go through and I grew through. And this is the first of the tracks from the EP. Sort of going back a step in order to go forward, to catch up on, what went on before EP2 was released.
Yeah, where we've been.
Yeah,
before where we're going.
Yes, we're gathering the threads.
So many little song titles there. You get an extra point if you can name the songs.
You'll catch the songs that we're mentioning as we go along.
So the song we're going to talk about and introduce today is Why Blame Others? And at the end of the podcast, if you're watching, you'll be able to watch the video. We even made a video for it. And if you're just listening, we will also put the song at the end so you can listen. This is a beautiful song to sing, to listen to, and Denise wrote it, so she's going to tell you a bit more about where it comes from. Go.
Why Blame Others? All the songs come out of either a bodywork session or a psychotherapy sessions. We were singing a lot, we were doing lots of stuff, we were changing in our lives, and when these moments come up, I have a song that comes out of it in some way or shape or form, and this one is a big ouch on so many levels. This is the beginning of Becoming Mrs. Bell, where suddenly I know that you can be really kind and really generous and really have a really good intentions behind things at the start, and somewhere along the line you become part of the enabling problem. And love is huge for that, right? Relationships are huge for that. So you start off with the best will of the world and being really kind and doing really good things, and it's serving lots of stuff for me too. And then I realise, actually, no, I'm over-adapting all over the place and I'm pleasing others all over the place. And actually, things are really off alignment, and part of that is my fault. Ouch! It can't be me. It isn't me. And actually, I knew better. And I thought I knew you better than you, but you showed me I never. So actions always speak louder than words. People take them on face value. They are who they say they are.
They tend to be showing you
exactly who they are. And that grandiosity that creeps in of, oh, but if they only knew this, or if I could just, they'll change, or they'll grow, or they'll grow up, or they'll do a thing.
Who they could be.
Yes, I could see I can, and that's one of my superpowers, and it's also one of my super non-powers. It's like I can see how it could be. Yeah, but only if everybody else in the equation is also seeing the vision and wants that. It's hard enough to change yourself.
Yeah.
It really is hard enough to change yourself and gets good support around that if that's what you're doing. But if you're thinking you can change other people just by hanging in there long enough and by somehow in the ether they're going to pick up your vibration and raise their game, then that isn't what happened in my experience. And that then put me into, sorry, but it's choking me. That then put me into being the baddie, because I'm now at part of the problem. Now we can see this in our political framework, we can see this in our communities and groups, we can see this process in our relationships, especially the ones closest to us. I look at you because that's not how I experience you, my darling. But it is a familiar loop for me. And there's a song called Looping, which is around going round that process over and over again. We'll talk about it another time. But it's in there. I got criticised for smoking in the video. Now, I'm not here. Don't do what I do. Do what you do. And for me, doing that was actually a huge moment of vulnerability. I teach breath. I'm a really well-adjusted, psychoanalyzed person for many years. And I have, in these moments, in these going back in time, transformational, transitional, you go back to your oldest habits, revisit them. So I brought it as a vulnerability, and the next thing I was getting, Jenny, smoke on videos, you're teaching everybody to smoke. It's just like, am I really? Is that my responsibility? And if that is, then I'm sorry about that. I won't do it again.
And I don't think it's hugely useful to make people feel bad for their coping mechanisms. And everyone has a point of view, and I can understand where they were coming from. And I know that I know what the direction of the video was not to glamorise anything. If you watch the whole video, you can see it's really not about making, I was smoking and then my life was great. That's not how it works out. It's quite an emotive video.
It's pretty doer.
It's quite
and
intense.
a good thing about the video, which we were recording it in the Meadows in Edinburgh, and we had a taxi at the time because our old dog we couldn't carry him. He was so old and not well, in and out of our cars. So Ali, being the creative person that she is, bought a taxi. Solution focused. We bought a taxi and we drove around the taxi, and on Saturday nights people would wave at us and we would just have to drive by because we weren't a taxi. We were
in a dog taxi.
And the dog walking
and
off the street.
Specifically just our dog's
yes,
taxi.
Yes. And that taxi, you driving it in the video when I'm getting, when we're doing some of the shooting, which is a lovely memory. And actually when I was sitting on the bench, which we also took with us, we were sitting on the bench, they phoned to tell us that Abe was born.
Yeah.
Which was really sweet, which is our little dog who's not a little dog, he's a huge dog and a huge learning process, but he's just under here now.
It's quite a full circle moment. If you really want to know the absolute moment that they got in touch, there's a bit in the video where Denise is sitting and a big, I think it's like a boxer or a Great Dane, walks past and kind of sniffs at Denise. That was literally the moment that my phone went to say that Abe had been born.
So excited.
And it was also the hottest day of the year. It was so hot. But glamour is not involved always in anything to do with creating, and you just have to get on with it. That's the day we booked. It just happened to be really hot.
And if you're looking for a before and after, becoming Mrs. Bell, what happened. That video was the beginning of the process. It's all in black and white and quite dour. And here I am now. La la!
She's fully in colour today.
Really in colour today.
But the process of... there's a few different processes in getting the song to where you're going to see it. And it comes from Denise having the inside her from
Emotion.
doing a body or a
emotion release.
therapy session to have to make sense of something that comes out in the form of melodies and words, and then there's quite a bit of time and process, and then we worked with some different folk getting different like chords and music. And then we found a producer who then brought it to where it is now, which all happened through a really difficult time in our life when our wee dog was very ill, and we were tag teaming to go up and down to record because he's down in England, almost at the bottom of England. So we're going up and down, tag teaming, creating the stuff, coming home, listening, adding bits in, editing, back and forth. Then we finally get our product that we're happy with, and then it goes to get mastered, and then it comes back and it's a wee bit different, and it's like, oh, we need to get used to that now. Oh, that's a bit scary. And then there was a process of, okay, we want to be singing this now. How do we sing it? How do you create the track that you want to sing to? What live musicians are we going to work with, if any? For me, I do vocal arranging. It's not just one line of vocals. There's loads of vocals. What vocal am I going to sing when we're singing live? Blah, blah, blah. Quite a long process. And we did do a launch, which was part track, part live, which was gorgeous. I loved that gig.
Did we record it?
Yes, it's recorded somewhere.
We must have some.
In the vaults. And then it came to, okay, to actually release. I had a concept of a video that I wanted to do, but I didn't personally have the skills to make the video, so then we had to get...
Not then.
I'm not sure I could make that video now either, but I did like have a idea, so I storyboarded it all out, and we got somebody who could make it, and then we painted a garden bench from our garden so it was the right colour for the video, even though the video was black and white. And then we took the bench and ourselves down to the meadows.
Was it all shot in the meadows, or was some of this shot in Rose Street?
No, we did 2 shoots.
We did 2 shoots.
Yeah. The second one was the one that made it to the final.
It was very sweet. I looked so dour and upset that somebody came up and said, "Are you okay?" Because they hadn't seen the camera away in the distance, and I was like, "Yes, okay, I'm just."
It makes you feel like
it was nice. It was nice. There are humans in the world. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that hasn't always been my experience of having a bad day and nobody coming up to say, "Are you okay?" So. But yeah, we did all of that. We faced the fact that we were in a public space and anything could happen. And sat there for hours and hours recording this, and you'll see it's like a time lapse. So it took really quite a long time. We drove the taxi. We're hot, too hot, and then our part is done, and we wait for the edit, and then that was that.
Yeah.
And that was like a long time ago now.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
But when I'm in the car listening to my Spotify playlist and it comes on eventually, because it's from a wee while ago, so it's a wee bit far down, and I'm like, oh yeah, that song still absolutely works now. So we're going to share it with you again. So that
Love
you can...
is not what you think it is sometimes, and we can really sabotage getting the real love for us. And it doesn't mean that everything and everybody and all of the situations in the past were bad. If they were bad, if they're truly bad at their core, we wouldn't have to let them go with such pain. They just disappear.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning in letting go of concrete thinking.
Yeah.
There are hardly any things in the world that are all bad or that are all good. There's a lot of blurring. There's a lot of in between, and there's polarities for people as well. Mm-hmm. And also to go, I forgive myself because we learn from these processes and experiences, and you can still kind of hope that maybe the other person learned something too, but that's none of your business now anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
and it's not one situation. It was a load of situations, all with the same vibrational core that I was shifting from to be with you. So,
and I would say, like, if you have the time and the inclination, you just need to keep listening to the end of this podcast. Listen through and see if it hits for you. Mm. Your connection to it might be nothing to do with what Denise
our story
said,
and that's perfectly fine for sure.
But if you do listen and you want to let us know how it hit for you, please do, because feedback's nice. And also, if it just washes over you and you enjoy it and we don't hear from you, that's okay too.
And if you hate it, it's not for you.
It's all right. It's not for everybody. As with everything in life. That's another way that isn't not concrete either.
Yeah. It might really get on your nerves, in which case there's maybe something more to
Don't get in touch.
But there might be more for you in it than you really want to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
what's it like quickly for you to go through that process? I mean, it was an epic process.
That process was a huge learning curve. Everything to do with our processes has a huge learning curve in it. At least at one point in the process. For me, it was the first time of really being separate when doing the BVs. And so I just had to create it all through my filter, which is okay. And also I have the ability to take on a bit of your filter because I know you really well and I've been with the process of the song for a long time. I found the process tricky because I couldn't hear what the end goal was when we started, and working with someone who was so far away, a lot of stuff was done at a distance. So it was like, here, I've done this today, listen to that, and I would just be like, is that even the same song? It's not an insult. Just in case.
No, I think we were finding our own sound then.
Yes.
And I think that with the one that's releasing next year, there was we already had developed quite a lot of the sounds, and
yes.
When I say we, the production as well, the producer had, we already we were building on something, and that makes it easier, I think. So
and my confidence was higher in doing it. I had more trust in what was in my head I could explain out or do a sketch of,
and confidence in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be for me too. I felt that it was a huge learning curve, this album, for me.
And I also found we talk about it sometimes, the difference in the recording stage to the performance stage. Really different, like a different almost like a different ego state was needed for each. Certainly. It's very much a different skill set anyway. and a lot more vulnerability in the actual recording part than in the performance part, which was challenging, but it's a beautiful thing if you can go through it. We managed to create enough safety in the whole process to be able to do it, but it was I find it much easier recording with all my wee animals and my family, my whole pack around, than having to get on a flight, get in a car, get to the place. I mean, first world problems, I know, but all of those little agitators in the process was a completely different experience to when we recorded the next album.
That's true.
Which we won't talk about today, just a little sneak peek that we will talk about it eventually.
We grew,
and we continue to.
Yeah, we do.
And music is core through everything that we do. Soundtrack to our experiences and how we work with people, and sometimes it literally is the soundtrack because it's playing in the background.
True.
Yeah.
It seems like a long time ago, but it was, I don't know, I started writing it in 2000, and some of the songs were 2011, some of them were 2016 after we got married.
As early as 2009, I would think.
Yes.
But yeah, you wrote some after I got married. And it'd be quite fun if we can find enough versions at one point to go like, this was the first version of this song, this was it through this set of filters, this was it through this set of filter, this is where it ended up.
The creative process in a nutshell.
Is there another version to come?
I imagine so. If you ask me to sing it now, 9 years on from becoming Mrs. Bell, then I imagine.
Album of remixes. But we hope that you will listen again. I really enjoyed talking about music today.
Yeah, I did too.
And I hope it wasn't just fun for me and Denise.
Oh, that's possible. Yes, I do too. And it's really nice to talk to you. And your support to keep going, coming back to the table with the music is special.
You're worth it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
And likewise.
And if you would like to catch us anywhere else, you can check out our Facebook page and YouTube, which is Noble House Scott. You can check out our website, which is noblehouse.scott, and we will be here again next time for another podcast.
We will. Until then, take good care.
Bye.
Bye.